there, everyone. How are we doing? Good? Good, good. Wonderful to hear that from your non-existent voices. I'm doing swell enough. Had to do a little bit more setup than usual, but that's fine. We've now started on Elden Ring. Now, you guys may have noticed, I'm in a little bit of an odd location, in a catacomb I've technically cleared. I just realized I missed something when I was doing stuff for the Elden Ring lore, so I'm like, wait a second, I don't have that item. Oh boy, so I better start looking to see how I missed it. Hey Chaotic, hey Platty, hello Adolphus. Good to see you guys. Time to delete some bosses. Today will not be the boss rush episode, that will be next time, but we will be preparing for the boss rush episode today. We're gonna get ourselves onto the starting line. Oh. I was not expecting that. Alright, is there like some secret wall here? Oh. There we go. Nope. Oh. Darn. And dead. That's probably a good time to drink up. For Tachin. Can I survive the fall here? I want to say yes, but we won't take the risk. Alright, let's see. Let's check out what chat's got to say today. I could see Fire Giant maybe getting a kill or two just by virtue of damage and mobility if you choose to move. Yeah, I can see that. I expect the Giant's going to be probably the hardest of these bosses just because I've heard enough about it, and I just feel like I don't know if I have enough damage to comma to it. That's actually something this game doesn't have yet, huh? No real player bosses. The Fia's Champion are probably the closest thing to that. Yeah, I suppose that's true. There's also the Mimic tier. That's kind of something that the game has. Who knows, maybe they're going to do a Dark Souls 3 reference and have the DLC add a half-light type of boss. You never know. And by some extension, the Gyro Champions, but those aren't bosses. Yeah, those aren't really. Those are more like optional challenge. I mean, Eleanor is pretty boss-like. Girl has blood flame twin blades and direct. I mean, yeah, but that's not what we're talking about there, Adolphus. Oh, wait a second. Wait. Uh-huh. Like, at first I was like, nah, there's no way I'm jumping down that, but I was like, wait a second, isn't that a platform? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I hope there isn't a secret hidden wall somewhere along there. Uh-huh. Wait, there's a stake of America? That's actually kind of shocking. Oh, and look at all the death blight. There you go. A magic one, huh? I'll be honest, the sorcery bit surprises me. I'm a bit surprised by the sorcery bit. Would have felt that these catacombs wouldn't have that. Okay. I can't remember, guys. Was the boss a Godwin-style boss? Like, was it like a... Ah! Okay. Okay, I get it. I get your shtick. Took one for the team. And I don't remember these things having frost used down here either. So these catacombs were built with the help of sorcerers, it seems. Probably the astrologers of the village? Fascinating. I guess that makes sense because there's a graveyard out back that only serves for Erdtree burial, huh? Yeah. That makes sense. Howdy. Hello, Xavier. Hello, little church lore. Hi, are you new? I don't recall your username. Welcome on in, if so. Great to have you. Happy to have new people in the chat. Are you sure you get it? Really like that trick. I think it's the second or third time they do it. Yeah, I'll be honest, this one was shocked me. I didn't expect them to have like a full-on elevator lift thing. Like, I expected the whole... I was expecting like, ooh, maybe there's like a jump down here type of thing, right? But now it's like... just full... Oh! Just full-on, full-on lift to another section of these ruins I was not expecting. Yeah, and it leads straight to the village, right? I just start wondering if I made a mistake then, and that these catacombs aren't for the giant ore. Because I thought these were, like, the regular catacombs. I have to check the items and stuff again for, like, the non-heroes in the war. But now I have to start thinking, like, maybe that's these catacombs, and these catacombs may be more related to the Stargazers? Joined a little late. What's going on in this stream? I'm currently doing a part of the catacombs I didn't realize existed. I was looking through it and I was like, wait a second, I don't have this Ash of War. Oh, no, not Ash of War. The Summoning Ash of the Fire Monk. But that's supposed to be in this catacombs. I was like, I could have swore that, right? Because I think during that stream, I even said, like... Because I think I got Deathroot or something, right? And I was like, huh. I was a little kind of confused, but, like, now I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not crazy. Jane, I enjoyed the Age of the Erdtree ride, by the way. Wasn't the Dragon War during Godfrey's reign? Yes, but I haven't finished my Age of Godfrey thing. Like, I keep on updating that document because of just how much is in there. Like, there's still so many sections I skipped. I cut them out from the doc I'm sending you guys because it's just so much, you don't need to read all the stuff I put in the Smotown doc. Okay, so I have to go in there, I think. Yeah, I think there's a illusory wall over there. Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, this is sorcerers, so this has to be from the Stargazers. This is their contribution to the catacombs, surprisingly enough. Ah! I messed that up. Mess that up. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. He accidentally opened that. Thanks, I guess. Appreciate it. Okay, yeah, that worked. Woo! Fire Monk's Ashes, so we have a statue of Marika here. It's Marika without the vessel yet, right? Because Age of Plenty proper hasn't started yet, so she's not going to be portrayed with the vessel in this one. Coolio. Okay. So I have to add new things to my giant war part of the dock. And I have to double check. In fact, let's do a quick rundown of the proper. the proper dungeon just to see if I'm missing anything there. There we go. Yeah, there's nothing down there. Oh geez, the lore really is that big, huh? To be honest, when reading your thing, I didn't think half of what you wrote initially with the unification of the tribes and such. Very nice stuff. Well, that's sort of the reason why I write it down, because a lot of people, I assume, haven't thought of that stuff. There we go. I imagine that Deathroot tastes like ashtray. I mean, why not? I wouldn't be surprised. So this is the boss. Oh god, I just realized we're gonna run out of, Oh, and they use magic stuff here, too? I didn't even think about that when I was going through it the first time. Okay, yes, this entire catacomb is magic-based. Gotcha. And it's funny, because they use Ghost Flame. So it's not like this is a... So this probably isn't a source... Yeah, okay. I think this is by the Giant War thing, but the non-heroes had the Stargazers build it, which means I have to build the entire thing about how the Stargazers were technically quote-unquote conquered, right? So it goes like, okay, they take the Stargazers, and they move on to Castle Solon peeps. Yeah, okay. Do I have to check the... Do I have to check down here, too, to see if there's... No, that looks like that's, yeah, that's just a normal lift. Okay. So it's just the first part of the lift that they try to confuse you. Oh, look at all this. Crazy. I don't know what you were about to do. I don't care. Okay, so no America statues without the vessel. I wonder how consistently I can use that as a marker for when these catacombs were built. I think it's the same thing in the Ariza side tombs, if I recall. I think these same statues are used without the vessel. Oh, this is another trick catacomb, isn't it? This is one of those where they use duplicate floors and stuff. So this also suggests America construct, huh? Yeah, this one feels a little bit like that, huh? Ah, right. It has these for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. Do we find these guys anywhere on the plateau? I don't think so. I think they're only in Liurnia and Limgrave. I wonder if we find any items they uniquely drop in Plateau, though, because that could indicate that they were once native there, but then they disappeared. Oh. Okay. Oh. Alright. There we go. Right, because then this is the trap one where it's like, hey, now you drop down, and you're a little confused, because you're like, what? How does this happen? Now we go back. Look, the trick. Yeah, and it's a new one. Right. Then you go up here and you see, again, more of these. But it's a big one. Yeah, nothing special there. And then... Oh. Somehow that made you even more vulnerable. I don't know. I don't know how or why, but it worked. Right, and then we go down here. And it's the same spiel. And then we're back here, right? So the only way out is if we take the route up. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Let's see. I could have sworn I saw them on the plateau, like in that swampy area near Mount Gelmir. Ooh, you may be right there. I have to double check that then. I do not recall what was on the swampy area of Mount Gelmir. Seethwater Terminus or what? Yeah. There's no shame in wielding the Moon Veil. Wait. Should I have some shame, Pastor? I just don't usually use my melee weapon. Yeah, so this is where they try to trick you, because it's like, oh, look, see? Dead end. Okay, so I never actually took this. Ooh. It's just Ice Boy, huh? No. Clever. Oh, but you use fire. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's like, okay, the ones down at the regular level use magic, but these guys on the upper level have the tricky bits because they use fire. Because they are America's people. Gotcha. Okay. I think I understand how this was designed then. So this is a split. The upper half of the catacombs was designed by America, and the lower half was designed by the Stargazers, hence the split difference. Oh. Ow! I'm back here. Yeah, we know how this goes. Okay. Okay, so we can leave. They are called land squirts. Apparently they can be found in Liurnia, Caelid, Limgrave, and here. Okay, so not Gelmir. Yeah, basilisks I know are there. I just don't recall if the poison boys are. And the answer seems to be no. Yeah, there's nothing special here. Whew. So let's see. I could just do the teleporter, but I want to just go through here, make sure nothing else. So yeah, fire monks are being buried here. So I assume that this was in fact a catacomb for the war, but the Stargazers were the contributors to it. Giant's mountaintop catacombs, you know. Okay, now. Yep, and we have here. Then we go here. Now, how would be the route? Okay, so you have all these exiles, right? All these exiles, being brought up to the mountaintops, right? So you go from Rold, you get brought in, you pass the Zamor village, you get brought over here as an exile, and now you're wearing a red veil to cover your eyes, and you're being led by a prelate with a whip that matches those that have blinded you and gouged your eyes, right? Then you move forward. I don't recall if that symbol is being used elsewhere, so we're going to have that there just in case. That's Consecrated Snowfield. So these are the blocks that were placed to create a road for Godfrey's army. Right? Huh. This road got really thin at parts. Right? Moving on, all the way over to here. We hit the ancient civilization ruins. By the time the DLC gets out, I hope I can finally sleep and hope that the demigod family tree is fleshed out. Adolphus, I think you may be disappointed. Just call it a hunch. Nascent butterflies, noted. Yeah, okay, so you have to climb up this ridge and stuff. Okay, so Godfrey's army is coming through here. Now, somehow they have to get up here, which I think means that they had to have gone this way, right? Again, we have to assume. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is the biggest, hardest, tell for the rest of the conflict up here. Also, wait, we're finding swords and weapons every now and then? That wasn't what I expected. What's going on? Do we see that anywhere else, chat? Like, the occasional sword and shield and stuff? Because those are specifically Banished Knight weapons and stuff, and I'm curious how far we can go with the assumption that Banished Knight equipment means the presence of Banished Knights. Also, Exiled Soldiers, of course, because of the shields, but you get what I mean. Alright, let's keep going forward, then. So you have some here. That might be useful for indicating conflict, then. Too far up. There we go. Yeah, and there's more swords and stuff here. Thing is, we can be reasonably sure none of this is shattering related, because I don't think we have anything regarding the shattering going on. Alright, I gotta keep my eyes out for more of that, huh? The Ancient Snow Valley Ruins. Okay, yeah, gotta remember that. Ancient Snow Valley Ruins is gonna be the section of the map that we're gonna want to talk about those weapons being there. Not seeing anything else of significance here. So there was some conflict, it seems, in that section of the ruins, right? So Godfrey and his men come up, and they have some conflict as they're climbing up into the valley, which maybe shouldn't be that surprising. And then they'd have to climb here. So they follow up the river and start going up this way to the freezing lake. We find the telescope here. Nothing too crazy to know. Again, I'm not noticing any more weapons or anything up here this way. So, you say ancient civilization, but to be honest, I feel like there are a lot of those. How many do we know by name, or we at least have the architectural style associated with them? There are two that, when I talk about the ancient civilization, it's because the term ancient civilization is consistently used for these kind of style of ruins. Where are they? There we go. These here. So these bridges here, and the broken bridge you see over here, with all the ruins below it, this is the style we see. We see these ruins down here. They're like a highway that connects the peninsula to Limgrave proper. So before this bridge came to exist, during the latter end, like the last third of Godfrey's reign, this was constructed by the Banished Knights. There was these highways that connected, right? And there's one that goes along here, cuts through this way, up to here, and there seems to also possibly be one that led to where Morn Castle is now. Hard to say what was there originally. But anyway, there's also bridges like here to help connect these areas and stuff. So like there's a lot of pathways and things that led to the peninsula once upon a time. This road we see here is a more modern pathway. It used to be much more focused on the closer ends of I guess the closer ends for those who are actually like living and residing here, right? Like this area is a bit more circuitous. It seems to exist because of the less advanced, quote unquote, architecture, or you can argue just relative quickness necessitated. We also, of course, find them in the High Road Cave. We, of course, find them all here. All of these all coalesce to create a highway leading to about here. Yep. And that connects to these ruins here. So we have the idea that the ancient dynasties had contact with the ancient civilization above ground. Similar to how we see evidence that the ancient dynasty had contact above ground here-ish, right? There's all those ruins there from the ancient dynasty and stuff with the statues. Obviously, we have those here connecting to Gelmir, which makes sense because they have to have they have to have some sort of connection to the fire slugs to go with my theory that the fire slugs are piloting / powering the giant golems that we see down there. The fact that the giant golems are suspiciously similar in structural design with like the chest / belly furnaces to the fire giants, and the fact that we find these ruins up here where the fire giants are tells us that the ancient civilization is about contemporary with them, which makes sense. So like, yeah, we have a lot on this ancient civilization in terms of just general presence, though that's about it. We don't have a name or anything. Ancient dynasty, similar thing. It looks like the dynasties were like almost like city-states, I would say, kind of like Greek city-states. That's about it. Now again, so they would have to climb up this way where they'd be fighting, right? So again, we see how most of these graves are human. Until we get to the last, like, 4th or 5th of this graveyard. At which point it suddenly becomes part giant graveyard, which again makes sense. The idea would be that the fire giants and the castle soul people are working together. So therefore they're fighting and dying, and Godfrey's letting them get honorable burials, which again Marika may have had a problem with, but well, she'll make sure the rest of the giants get their full bout of her whimsy when they get to the summit, right? So we already know how that story plays out. So again, we find the giant graves among the small graves, and you have the spirits of the giants appearing with the giant graves to add to that impression. Yeah, so this has to be the path that Godfrey's army took in order to get up to Castle Soul and the Stargazer's ruins by extension. Yeah. Right. Oh, did we go there? I don't recall if we've been to this one specifically. Maybe we have. It says acquire materials. Okay, yeah, I think we have, because I feel like there should be a, what is it called? A star shard or something? Starlight shard? I'm not seeing any of those weapons still, so just the burial graves. Very interesting. I'm gonna have to keep that added to the giant war stuff. Very interesting. Then we get to Castle Sol, right? So we already know how that works, and there's the barrow. Actually, let me double check, because I don't remember if I put this in the right spot. Oh, God, I have to go the long way. Fine. It's either those ghosts still spawn after killing the Mariner. Yeah, I assume it has to do with the death root and shit. Yeah, okay, so... Okay, I put it a little bit off, but that's fine, I guess. I was close enough, to be honest. There we go. Now I can say, like, I've got the exact spot, right? Yeah, we have the graves here. Here. There. That's a bit much, but we can always subtract them later if necessary. For now, I just kind of want to acknowledge that there is a super extensive graveyard here. Kind of like how we're doing, like, the little dots here. Like this, I'm not going to mark the full extent of, but this one, I at least want to acknowledge that there is... Actually, you know what we can do? Just to acknowledge, like, okay, this area, and then... Oh. Then we'll do something like this area, right? So it's like, okay, we know that there's the giant graveyards added here, and then it's just human graves for this section. Okay. Of course, there's the small two-person graveyard beside this church, because it's very rarely visited. Probably just the 2 staff members there. This is for the statue. I'm going to remove that, because we don't need it. There's also a statue, like, somewhere up here or whatever, right? Again, I'll keep that separate for when I'm doing a study of the ancient civilization proper. Let's check around the Stargazer's ruins, I guess. Let's do that. I think people keep forgetting that soulless demigods are Miquella's half-siblings, too. Assuming that they are America's children, yes. Again, I've talked about this before, but... It seems like the idea of the demigods is, like, used in different contexts to mean different things. So when Enya talks about the demigods, she's specifically talking about in the context of the Shardbearers, the people who have the each individual shard of the Elden Ring. So it's like, okay, these are the demigods, and they're all America's children, except for Godric, who is a descendant. But the fact, distant descendant. The fact, though, that distant descendants can be considered demigods, though, and we know that demigods consist of more than just those Shardbearers, tells me that it's probably just referring to all people who are part of the Golden lineage, or Golden clan. Which, if so, tells me that the soulless demigods might not necessarily be her children. It could be that Godwyn is the only actual child, right? The rest are like, I don't know, second cousins, third cousins, or shit like that. You know, people who are just maybe part of the clan, not necessarily her kid. But, admittedly, America, there is a line used where, it translates to, like, basically a fallen or lost child, essentially. Now, it's traditionally used to refer to a bastard child in, like, ancient, like, antiquity. But that context has been subsumed in modern times by the general use of a, like an... I don't want to say an unwanted child, that's more omen. But, like, something that, like, a bad consequence to something, right? So similar to how a bastard child is sort of like, well, you played around, and now you have a bastard child you didn't want, Mr. Nobleman. Sort of similar to the idea in general, where there's, like, a bad consequence to something. So, like, Estelle, the natural born of the void, is technically a, quote-unquote... This is why there's also the bastard stars item, right, and all that. Technically, this is a character who's supposed to refer to, again, as a fallen or lost child. Now, it's hard to say how literally the fallen child aspect is being used by Miyazaki in this case, especially when you're talking about, like, characters who are, like, well, characters, quote-unquote, monsters, which are, like, meteors and something. But generally speaking, in FromSoft history, in Miyazaki scriptwriting history, it's been used to refer to just, like, it's been another synonym for monster. Nothing too meaningful there. So it's like, yeah, I don't know how much I want to take the possible wordplay seriously in this context, considering how it's been used in the past. Okay, we know how that works. I'm not seeing any battles that could be happening here. There's just the graveyard back there. Oh, wait. Never mind. I just hit something. Okay. Okay. What do you know? There is stuff here. Okay. Again, some Banished Knight, Ow! Thank you. Some Banished Knight, well, I should say Exile Soldier Shield with Banished Knight, like, spear, halberd thing. Okay, so there was conflict here. Yeah, it's really bare, but you can find evidence of conflict. Okay. Which is interesting, because we don't see that around the graveyard areas, which I guess makes sense, because they're cleaning up the graveyard areas. I wonder if this tells us, though, that the Stargazers were therefore, wiped out. Like, it wasn't like they captured it. It's like we wiped out and we killed and enslaved everybody. Interesting thought. Yeah, there's our friend having his crisis of faith. Good old Brother Corin. About here, right? So that stretch of land, this stretch of land. All right, we got this all done. Let's see. You can see the Haley tree from off that cliffside, by the way. Nice low poly flat render of it. Yeah, I know. I think I saw we pointed that out in an earlier live stream. There's a whole area behind Castle Sol, by the way, with more coffins. Yeah, that's what I got that before. Yeah, so that's all marked. I've heard people say that the long dead master was the noble with the medallion and not the dead demigod outside the castle, or that the soul was the noble with the medallion and not the dead demigod outside the castle, or that the soulless comrade is actually Godwyn. I don't think the soulless comrade is God. Yeah, I think the fact when you have Castle Sol trying to revive a demigod or whatever, right? And it's a quote-unquote comrade or friend or whatever you want of Miquella. And you have the soulless demigod right here. That tells me that they're trying to revive this soulless demigod. That's what that tells me. The fact that they describe him as a comrade, too, makes me think that less so than family, that this is a case of Miquella working with a member of the clan who's aligned with him on the Halig Tree stuff. Because by this point, we have to assume that the Halig Tree was well underway before the Night of the Black Knives, right? Which means the demigod who would be stationed at Castle Sol has to have been aware and in league with Miquella for this, right? Like, there's no way it's gonna be like, well, someone's making an entire new tree back there. I guess I should never report this. Like, obviously, there has to be some talks going on. Mog and Morgott in the sewers, pissing, screaming, and crying because they keep being left out. There's always conflict in these games. Exactly, John. But I'm trying to mark that now, because this is something we could say isn't Shattering related. But yeah, so we could say that there was a conflict here in the valley. Then they moved up to the Freezing Lake, and then around up here. They fought here where all these graves are. It seems like there was also some conflict at the Stargazers ruins. And we could see the result, right? Now that's interesting because there's the graveyard back there as well. So let's go back to that graveyard, see if there's anything else interesting to highlight there. And then we can move on to what I want to do today, which is the summit. So you can get everything up until the Fire Giant. We will save that hell for when we do the boss rush. The boss rush episode. There's the two graves, normal graves, normal graves. Nothing to indicate whether they were pagan or not, which makes sense, because there's somewhat an ambiguous position when you're wiping out entire peoples. Here lie who never saw the stars, yeah. The fact that there's such a big deal being made as well about these being children who are dead, and yet they are, they never got to see the stars, so they died prematurely. makes me think that, yeah, okay, the Stargazer ruins, basically everyone was wiped out. Which, again, this will fit very nicely into the idea that they took the Stargazers, they killed them. They, those that survived... Oh! I have to wonder if that ties into the sorceries, that the exile criminals especially learned. Like, did they learn them because some of those exiles were... sorcerers? That would actually explain a lot, because it's like, what if you're learning something through faith, then why is it sorcery? But if it's because sorcerers were the ones who did the discovery in the first place, that would make sense. Ooh. Again, so much stuff I gotta keep adding to the list here. Yep. Alright, let's go to the summit. There's also the different bats here. Don't know how important that is, though. That's very true, Xavier. If the bats are different here, it could just be evolution because, you know, it's the mountaintops, right? So it's snowy. Kind of like how we see the trolls. The trolls on the mountaintops have fur, but those that come down to the warmer climate of the plateau lose all their fur, which is interesting because all those buried in the hero graves are trolls without the fur, which tells us, oh, okay, so all these trolls survived, come down to the plateau, they live, they die, and then they're brought back up to be buried into the hero's grave, which makes sense, because you also have the exiled criminals and stuff, so it's like, these are forbidden lands, but there's obviously exceptions for who's allowed transit here, depending on the circumstance. There's also, of course, Yellow Anis, who, obviously the idea of a troll with, trolls with cloaks, because they don't have the fur, so they wear cloaks instead to deal with the cold. I guess they didn't want to wait. And then, and the mining tunnel that was established. So it's like, okay, there's clearly circumstances where they're allowed to, where they're allowed to come up here. It's just the normal public who's not allowed to enjoy any of that stuff. Okay, there's the dogs. There's the pet crows. Ah! Ow. Fandaggers. Warming stone. Fandaggers are so common, I have no idea how important they are at this point. Like, it's like, gosh, should I really be paying attention to everywhere I find Fandaggers? Or is it like... Or do Raptor Assassins just give out their stuff all the time? Oh, look at that. Fingers. I completely forgot about you. I hate you. Go away. Oh. Got the crows fighting the trolls. Okay, so the crows aren't being used as pets like the dogs are. So the crows may have just followed the giants up to the mountaintops then, or were brought here for whatever reason, but they can never be tamed, like the dogs. Okay. That's fine. And look at that, our friendly neighborhood fire slugs. Okay, yeah, so these have to be, these aren't native here, right? Like, these have to be brought up because, from Gelmir and or, taken out of the golems that are already here, right? Either way. Huh? Oh, another invasion. Frada, frada. Okina, the bloody finger. Where is he? Ah, there he is. Ah! Having trouble, huh, buddy? Well, oh, gotta wait till you stop, huh? There we go. He's gone, chat. Okina is no more. I also have to change my analysis of the Church of Repose, right? Because that's what's here. I thought the church was connected to this. I didn't realize the cliff was so sheer here. Which means this has to be dealing with these guys. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm gonna have to make some adjustments here to my my current analysis of all this. Which explains why there's absolutely no graveyards here. It's like, hey, we got some of those sacred tears. But no one's ever gonna be buried here because no one's ever visiting. Like, it's right after the demarcation line. Okay. It's only for, like, those few fire monks, I guess. Do you have anything new to say, Melina? Nope. Oh, I have a thing for my flasks, though. Coolio. You now have something to pair with Moonveil. Is that so? What's the weapon called? Oh, it's up here. Rivers of Blood. It is a Dex and Arcane weapon. Well, I don't have Arcane, so that ain't happening. Arcane, huh? So it connects to, I guess it has to be Formless Mother then. Because, again, art, for those that don't know, Arcane equals, it literally refers to mysteries. Or, if you want to be even more literal with the kanji, it refers to the secrets of God. So the idea, it ties into divine mysteries, you know, those types of, you know, knowledge God only knows, you know, stuff God only knows, that type of thing. Very curious, though. Okay, so this Church of Repose has to deal with that, which means I have to now edit my analysis to account for all this. Oh. Okay, how... I'll be honest, it's not the worst thing in the world. I'll be honest, that wasn't the worst thing in the world, all things considered, because I could stun lock them, but... Woo! Oh! Ash of War, Trolls Roar. What a shocker. Nope. Ah, there is an item in there. I was like, uh-huh. Another ancient dragon. Well, I guess that giant or whatever met Placky at some point and took a bite out of him. Well, there's like technically a corpse in there, right? So it could just be some random dude that happened to walk in there, though. Again, how many people are meeting Placky and then choosing to die on top of a giant skull in its mouth or whatever? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, okay. You know what we're avoiding. The crows were used as pets by the giants. This would make a lot of sense. They aren't necessarily tame, but they can be loyal and hold one hell of a grudge. That's true. Yeah, right. So the point I make in, again, if you guys check my Discord, you'll find the doc that I've been putting in Loki latest. I didn't update it for like a week, but I was like, oh god, I haven't been doing that. I should do that already. Well, so now you guys got all the info. I like my detailed analysis up through Age of Plenty. Though, as we can see, as I'm going through this area personally, I'm starting to see little inconsistencies with my analysis I need to fix, like the Church of Repose. And obviously the catacombs need an expansion to include Stargazer's ruins. Same thing with Castle Sol. The idea that Castle Sol was helping defend the ruins is an interesting notion. So you got the idea that the crows couldn't be tamed as easily as the dogs, though, which again makes sense. So I can still go with the idea they're pets, at least for the giants, because again, the giants would be like, oh, it's a bird, right? Like, it's a normal-sized bird to them. For us, it's a giant bird. But for them, it's like a normal-ass, like, crow. So I can easily see them using them as pets, but then obviously the crows do not, they're both smarter and more independent and you know, crazier than the dogs as far as taming is concerned. So yeah, that could still work. I just have to basically change my analysis. So instead of saying they repurpose both the dogs and the crows for guard duty for the flame, that's only the dogs, and that the crows end up continuing to run wild. Which again is fine. I do not mind that. Oh, look, another grace point. Okay. Crows are also capable of holding grudge against certain individuals throughout generations, so it could be that. Ooh, I did not know that. That's an interesting detail. I guess it is. They are intelligent animals, so I wouldn't be that surprised if they had that ability as a species. I think the biggest finger creeper in the game appears around here. Yeah, that makes sense. Is the fight between the Kroll and the Troll supposed to illustrate the Trolls betraying the Giants? Ooh, that's an interesting notion, John. I didn't even think of that little detail either. Yeah, okay, that ties in with the grudge idea. Let's see. I think they are by the kids' graves. I don't know where else they appear, though, for the bats. Gotcha, Xavier. We're gonna have to look at that more often. Yeah, Mo gave him it or something according to the description. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It has to be Formless Mother related. Let me check the description right now. 1 second. We should actually, yeah, look at... weapon of Okina, swordsman of the Land of Reeds, a cursed weapon that has felled countless men. When Moog, the Lord of Blood, first felt Okina's sword and madness upon his flesh, he had a proposal to offer Okina the life as of a demon whose thirst would never go unsated. Corpse piler, forms blade of a corpse blade. So it's regarded as cursed. So I wonder if the cursed idea is because it absorbed some of Moog's blood. Because the idea is that he felt Okina's sword and stuff, right? So it's Moog goes against Okina. He injures, Okina injures him. His weapon becomes cursed because now it has the blood of Moog, which has become one with the Formless Mother, right? Which is the whole idea of Moog with his blood and the whole being on fire and shit. So he meets up with Formless Mother, and Formless Mother's blood is now his blood, right? So it's like, okay. And then Okina get his blade cursed as a result because it has the blood of a god covering it. Holy mother of... chat. Chat. Excuse me? Sir? The AI is having a bit of an aneurysm, so let's fix that. Told you! Yeah, you told me, Xavier. There it is. There it is, Platt. Yep. Life of a Demon in Okina has that Japanese demon mask thing. Yeah. I don't recall his items because I don't remember looking at him very closely, but let's see. What do we got here? Let's see. A wooden mask that depicts an old man baring his teeth, the source of the sobriquet of the great swordsman of the Land of Reeds. Raises dexterity as it lowers focus. Oh, as it lowers focus, that's cute. The more he sharpened his mind, the more the absurdities of the world came into stark relief, and so Okina renounced it all and rose to a higher plane. There was only himself, his katana, and its mastery. Before long, Okina became a demon of a swordsman. Yeah, this is a common Japanese trope, right? The idea of the man who becomes so obsessed, with the blade and the swordsman, he becomes sort of an oni, a demon of himself own. So, like, that's not a new concept. Let's see if I can do this quickly. I don't think so. What? Hello? God, what is with the AI to this thing? Okay. We gotta just do it while he's doing the crow thing, chat. Oh, I forgot. Well, it still worked, chat. I'll be honest, I was surprised how easily that actually got killed. To be fair, though, we do have a pretty good setup for damage on my sorcery at this point, so it could just be that I've just maxed out all my stuff. Actually, is there anything I missed? No, I've got that. I've got that. Okay, so both of these were upgraded to 10. Let's see. We still have another 100k we need. Uh-huh. I do want to go up on that skull where our big boy seems to have dropped down from, right? Okay, so yeah, these are obviously the, hey, boss fight ahead, don't go this way. Very obvious markers there. Did these dogs have the collar? They do not, chat. I don't see a collar on these guys, so these are wild dogs. It might just be they only took a few of the dogs. Yeah? These dogs don't have the collars like the ones outside on the mountaintop. So yeah, it looks like both the crows and the dogs might be wild and anti-troll. Hey, shooting magic! Now the trolls are shooting magic pots. Okay, so this is definitely due to Stargazer's influence. Look at that, another golden seed. I actually don't know if we're gonna get another upgrade at this puncture. Well, that's funny. I wasn't expecting to see one of those things there. It's a sizable boss arena for a giant fight. Look at that, chat. What do you know? Another giant star reading thing. Who could have guessed? Much like in Caelid. Oop, starlight shards. Ah! Ow! Screw you! Screw you! There we go. Somber Smithing Stone, wow. These guys you can farm. God, there's so many weapons and shit. Alright. Oh god, you are so tanky. Come on, get that head. Dang it. Yeah, okay, we'll do this, and then we do this. I'm actually... Oh. There we go. I'll be honest, I was expecting the roll. I was expecting the roar first, but okay. Either way, it worked out. Arteria Leaf? From a troll? What? Is that a thing all trolls can do? Huh? Like, what? There are so many giants, they're all starting to look the same. I'm like, have I been this way? Have I been that way? Have I been this way? This, I think, leads back to the Gray Cell. You know, chat, I was thinking, because I put in Wyndham possibly that they were working together to create new weapons with the giants there, because there were presence of giant spirits that the Mariner can summon and stuff, right? But I'm starting to wonder if maybe the idea was for the lava slugs from Gelmir instead. We do have Fort Lyde right here. Uh-huh. Yeah, there's so much. I have to think about that as a factor too. Okay, so there's the Grace. So we go this way. Yeah, so it's possible that the fire monks are not taking fire slugs that were brought up from Gelmir, but that they already exist on the mountaintops because Wyndham and the Giants had already worked some out kind of trade out. I wonder, are there any evidence of fire slugs in Wyndham? Like, what would be the evidence there? There'd be smoldering butterflies, probably, right? I have to double check that now. Ah. This is dangerous. I don't think it's gonna net me anything either. If there's an item in that head chat, you can tell me, but... let's see. You guys are talking about the idea of the crows and dogs. Do the dogs and crows fight each other, Loki? I don't know. I haven't seen them fight each other yet. But the fact that these don't have collars like the ones by the garrison tell me that, possibly that the collared dogs might if you force them, but it's hard to say. I don't expect the AIs to act beyond whatever the immediate area requires, because for you to lead an enemy so far away from its original location without it like de-aggroing, I feel like is just incredibly difficult with the way the game is designed. But I could be wrong. The only place to farm Arteria leaves. Now that is also interesting. Why here? Very curious. And they grow here a decent bit, it would seem. I guess the question is maybe because of the fire? Because Arteria leaves are all about, like, life energy and shit, right? Okay, yeah, so... I don't think this is gonna get me anything. Oh! I completely forgot, right. There was another guy throwing stuff, wasn't he? Uh-huh. You know, I'm kind of curious, so... Uh-huh. Good to know. So we can almost kill a troll with one round of that. Alright, any other items hidden here? This one I think we can actually check for... Oh no. Oh no. Oh no! There we go. Almost had a disaster here. Anything inside? Nope. Darn. Maybe if we go this way. Like, can they be aggroed on one another? Yeah, I know what you're trying to say. They're chaotic, but I think you could at least get the collared dogs to do it, but I don't know about the wild dogs. Oh yes, because Arteria leaves are so hard to find. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Pastor. It's so difficult to find Arteria leaves anywhere in this game. It's totally not a basic item you can find on any random corpse throughout the lands between. Nope, never. It's so rare and hard to farm for Arteria leaves. How could Miyazaki have done this to us? I really like this shot of the garrison and all that. They don't show any of the, any of the defenses past that point, though, but even though we know they go, like, up to there or something, so that's interesting in itself. There's the church. Could have swore I saw a grace there, but no, I'm just crazy. Now, this has led to some questions because we see stuff, ancient civilization architecture used for these. Though I don't know if the ancient civilization has this exact design, so let me take a screenshot here so we can look at that stuff later. But it makes you wonder if the ancient civilization built that for the giants, or if they, someone else did. If the giants were the ones who did it themselves. At the very least, it's possible that the stand or whatever that the cauldron was built on. Another one? I don't know what is up with these fingers, to be honest. Like, I have no idea where I want to place them in the lore, especially in this area or whatever, but holy hell, they are everywhere. They're in sewers, they're in Caria Manor, they're here in the mountaintops, like, Jesus frickin' Christ. There was an Erdtree sapling you missed here. Gotcha. I don't recall them fighting in Caelid. The dogs and crows, right? I feel like they could damage each other, right? Because can't the dogs damage themselves? Like, can't you have the dogs damage other dogs? So maybe they could. I don't know if you could get them to fight each other, but maybe they can still damage one another. It might still be friendly fire. God, where am I going? Oh God, where am I going? Oh God, where am I going? Oh no. This is gonna be hell. There better be like a... I swear if there's an arteria leaf at the end of this. You know what? No, this plan of mine is not working out like I thought. Are you too... Oh my God. It's too low to the ground, chat. Alright, so we go this way. Don't think there's anything up here, right? No. Oh, of course. Well. Really? All that for a bubble tier? Boy, this better be the best bubble tier I've ever seen in my life. Hey, I-Man. Good to see ya. Alright, so apparently I missed an Erd Tree sapling somewhere, so we gotta go looking for that. We're getting out of Finger City. I missed beginning of the stream again. It's fine, I-Man. You can always watch the VODs if you want. Yeah, let's deal with this guy. Oh, cool, rune. Alright, so I think we did... Yeah, we dealt with all the other possible enemies. And dead. I don't have enough stamina, chat. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I want more stamina. Grace Mimic, that's an interesting, interesting item to have here. I guess it's generic enough you can have them anywhere. Is that it for the summit? Have we cleared it? We just gotta find this sapling I missed, apparently. I always do Loki, and then I I sum much up for a reasonable comment. So I'm sorry, I did not understand what that statement was. My brain cannot translate that. There are exactly 2 colossal finger creepers here. Makes me wonder if they are supposed to be hands of a giant. Ooh. Ooh. That's another interesting idea, Xavier. Oh, wow. Did they experiment on giant bodies to create those fingers? And that's why they're up here and in other areas. Like they were brought from those areas. Ooh. I never even thought of that. That's a good idea to explore. Again, chat, you guys are some of the best input I get for anything. Like, it's just like, oh, wow, ideas I never would have thought of. Well, maybe I would have if I'd given enough time, but, like, definitely not so soon. That means I don't have to go through as much shit, because I have all these great ideas where I'm like, okay, is it this? Is it that? Is it that? Is it that? And then I find the right answer. Really nice. Oh. Hello, Bori Pisco 24. I think you're new. I'm just gonna call you Bori. Anyway, let's see, Bori. Aren't the crawling hands appearing near the forge in Caria Manor and in Gelmir? Were they brought down from the mountaintops with the Carians and the trolls? Again, that's the question that Xavier sort of prompts, with the idea that they may be hands of the giants, or at least based on hands of the giants. So it's like, ooh, were giants used for experiments to create giant fingers, right? And they like took some of their hands or something and created those finger monstrosities. Because the idea is that they're not just normal hands, right? Oh, I didn't even realize you were here. Sorry. They're clearly like a bunch of like monstrosities combining a bunch of stuff. Oh, look at that. That beautiful crit on the head. Ow! Well, that beautiful crit on my head. I thought the fingers had something to do with right card. Maybe that was a lie. It could be a lie, but I think the thing with right card is more so the Great Serpent, right? So if the Great Serpent has hands, because I think there's like a finger model which looks like a finger creepers thing, but then the actually, yeah, shouldn't there be a weapon that possibly references finger creepers? I can't remember. I thought it was might be like the Great Serpent's finger or something like that. Okay, so I got that sapling. Where's this other sapling, Xavier? I could have swore I got them both. I got the one there. There was none down there. Maybe it's over here. Might be lower down the mountain and I missed it. Hey, buddy. Can we get you to attack some crows? Fortunately, there are no crows in this area. Just a rock. Uh-huh. Alright, let's go back. I feel like I heard that in a Smotown video. I'll have to check. Yeah, I feel vaguely familiar. Like there's an item that... I can't remember if it's the cut version references the finger creepers or the uncut version. I might have them mixed up. But it's been so long since I touched the Rykard stuff, so I have no memory of any of his lore. There's the Finger Club thing from the Gelmir Hero's Grave. Yeah, but Platy, was that a Finger Creeper related item or a Great Serpent related item? Because I remember there being like maybe like a cut description that might have referenced one or the other. But again, I can't remember which was the one that made it in the final game. I gave you directions to it. I just saw the sapling in front of a small giant corpse. Gotcha. I saw for only one. I don't know if you already collected it unless you recall getting one directly in front of a small giant corpse. I don't recall if it's a small giant corpse. Let's go back to the one that I have collected. It's right next to that troll that was not really dead. Right? It's right over here. It's Finger Creeper in the main game, Rykard Finger, and content, if I recall correctly. Gotcha, Platy. Thank you for clarifying. Okay. So it's a Finger Creeper related item. So then the question is if the Finger Creeper stuff comes from Gelmir or if it comes from somewhere else. The fact that we find them at Caria could indicate that there's been separate experiments. Like, Caria did their own Finger Creeper experiments. The Lingdell Capital did their own, which might tie into the Gelmir Hero's Grave. Because I don't think there's Finger Creepers at Gelmir, are there? And then we have the ones on the mountaintops, which is where they might have begun these things, right? So here's this. Some life yet remains in the legacy of an ancient act of blasphemy, as evidently by the bare perceptible warmth that still exudes. Gotcha. Bludgeon made of an enormous finger, sheathed in several heavy rings, thought to have been cut from an ancestor of the Finger Creepers. Gotcha. Ancient act of blasphemy. Perfect. Thanks, guys. You guys have all posted that. Wonderful. They're at Gelmir. Gotcha. So they're at Gelmir too. So we have experiments done at Gelmir. Yeah, let's assume these are all individuals. So you have experiments at Gelmir. Experiments up here on the mountaintops. Some might have been brought into Lingdell, but I guess you could always say they could be... Because they could be stuff that was brought from Caria too, right? Because there's also experiments at Caria, right? So we have 3 different locations which might have performed these different experiments. And then they could have somehow got into Lingdell's sewers that way, right? Because either they were brought from Caria, and that's how they ended up at Gelmir and here, or Gelmir did their own. Either way, they could end up in the Lingdell capital, or because they were brought here. And like, there's tons of ways for them to get to Lingdell that don't involve Lingdell having its own experiments area, right? Just because of the people who would be coming and going to the capital at various points in history. Okay. So I think we've covered all of that. So we just have the boss fight, which again we'll save for next time. We got all that. We got all that. Sounds like they came from an earlier form of the Serpent God. Yeah, could be. That's another possibility to think of. Ordina. We've covered all this. We covered all this. Okay, so that's all done. Covered all this. We covered all this. We covered all this. Covered all this. Hermit Shack. Craftsman Shack. Hermit Village. Azure. We've cleared that, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there's the Gelmir Graves. First Gelmir campsite. Volcano Cave. 9th Mount Gelmir's campsite. Okay, so we have an idea of the pathway we can trace for the assault on Rykard. Trying to go through this side route. Yeah, we know all this. Recuse and Bernal. Nothing really to say here. Oh, Rena's Rise. Let's do that real quick, because I don't think we ever explored that. I'm pretty sure it doesn't doing Ronnie's questline cause that to open up, so. There are the virgins in Lanedell as well as the finger creepers. Wait, there are virgins in there? I don't recall. Like, where are there abductor virgins in the Lanedell area? I'm trying to think. Oh, you're right. The Fortified Manor. Yeah, Fortified Manor has a few in the backyard, don't they? So yeah, you can say that there are they could come from Gelmir, yeah. But that wouldn't explain the giant one there. Although, I suppose it's possible that they were a separate act of quote-unquote blasphemy by Marika on the mountaintops, right? And because it's Forbidden Lands, no one would find out. Because this could totally be after Marika gets betrayed by Greater Will with the whole Glowmite Queen incident, and then she's like, okay, I can't trust this thing, so she starts looking to, like, stuff to, like, understand the fingers or whatever. Yeah, that could be its own thing. Maybe the Serpent God was one of those beings before the Erd Tree, and the Serpent seems to relate somehow to fire. I've considered the possibility that the Serpent God is an outer god, that has taken the form of a serpent, similar to the outer god of Rot that takes the form of a, yeah, similar to the outer god of Rot taking the form of a scorpion. That's been a possibility I've considered, which might also explain why it's immortal, because if we take with the idea that Shabriri is also the outer god of chaos, who's just using the name of his first vessel, Shabriri, because that's how he's most readily identified throughout history, right? I could easily see the idea that if Shabriri's spirit is quote-unquote immortal and it can just possess someone else, it could be the same idea with those that take on physical vessels, like the serpent and stuff. It's like, oh, it's immortal. The rock god, it's immortal, so it's a, so it had to be sealed, quote-unquote, right? Like, parts of it had to be sealed or whatever. So, like, I could easily see this idea that, like, outer gods can't be killed properly. So, like, their vessels can at best be destroyed. And if they, like, take on, like, a physical form of their spirits through an animal or something, they themselves are immortal or something to that effect. That's an idea that's been floating in my head. People say because the clothings are there, that's the Snowy Crone's Tower. But you find Ronnie naked at her fingers, covered in blood. So I assume she just undressed. Do not get her clothes dirty. Undressed to not get her clothes dirty. Maybe. Another possibility we have to consider is that it's a spare piece of clothes. Because, again, she takes the identity of quote-unquote Rena. Also, how does that tie into Ronnie's small doll form, right? Because small doll form Ronnie has clothes. But again, I don't understand the exact relation between Ronnie going to her fingers. You know... Yeah, I don't know about the exact nature between Ronnie going to her fingers and killing the doll. Yeah, Ronnie going to her fingers and killing them with the Finger Slayer blade as the doll. And then the small doll that exists seemingly parallel to Ronnie in one of those coffins. It's like, travel to another location. And this takes us where exactly? It sounds like Ronnie and Rykard trying to burn the birch tree as Bernal also reaches Farum Azula to unleash destined death. Is that so? Oh, it takes us here. So we can get on Ronnie's questline even faster. That's cool. And then we find the thing here, right? You know what? Yeah, that could be, that could all tie together then. Because she has ready access to this to get to here. Though I don't know why she'd want to have a warp point so far away from the Moonlight Altar proper, but who am I to judge? That's got to be true. The serpent seemed random to me, but being a vessel for an outer god makes sense. Yeah, that's the best I've got so far, John. But it's such a working hypothesis because I've just been kind of casually touching on outer gods as I've been working through Godfrey's reign stuff, right? Like I've talked before about the. Oh, we have to do, speaking of, we have to do the three finger stuff, which is actually perfect. Subterranean shutting ground, so we go here. Hey, Nobre, good to see you. Let's see. Anything else I'm missing? Yeah, the abductor virgins are near the manor. Yeah, so we have them around the manor. Okay, we're going to do this now. Alright, so we go down here. Ah, okay. I think I get it. Okay, get over here, buddy. Come on. Come on. Come on, shoot me up with that frenzy. Perfect. Ow! Ow! Man, I hope that stuff stays broken. Probably not, but a guy can dream. I should not have gone for the melee. I should have gone for the range. I really want to know what's up with the Dark Moon. Again, if we're going with my theory is that all the stars are outer gods or something like equivalent. Like, it might be like a kin situation where it's like, okay, lesser stars are lesser beings that are related to outer gods, but not true outer gods. But the powerful stars, including the moons, are the actual true strong outer god beings, right? Like those that we consider the outer gods. Oh. Whoopsie. Okay. Ah! Down, down, down! Got the hot tip for how to do this section painlessly. 2 tips, actually. Quit when standing next to the tents, and when you load in, it'll destroy the tent. Ooh. Second, when you're making the platform segment, start from where the violin guy is. It's much easier to path to make it down. Gotcha. Start with violin guy when you have to do platforming from the bottom. Gotcha. So we just kill enemies and spawn in. Come. Yeah, so this... Oh. This stuff makes sense so far as the idea that during the Age of Plenty, because we get the Erdtree's Favor Talisman from the chest before we enter here, Marika gets word from Shabriri that, hey, my clan has been doing these awful things, worshipping the three fingers and stuff, and again, going with my idea that the god being buried at the bottom here is the Placky's god, Placky's wife, as it were, who has the Elden Ring, and then when Placky's wife died, the Erdtree spawned on the site of her death from the Elden Ring, and she had a grave buried with the three fingers, which starts leaving marks to, you know, kind of like a taunt on all those who's like, hey, look at this, I killed one of the Greater Will's gods, and one of the Greater Will's, I guess, vassals, envoys, however you want to put it. Oh, wow. Gotta be careful of the bodies here blocking stuff, huh? And then it left a mark. There was some random person in the Grand Caravan called Shabriri. He finds the fingers. He gets possessed by the outer god of chaos. Now, this new demon Shabriri, again, because Shabriri is a blind demon in, like, Jewish folklore. So the idea would be this new Shabriri goes back to the clan at some point, basically spreads slander for America's people to hear about. Oh, it didn't work. How? Maybe like this? Let's try that. Loki, you're blowing my mind. Anyway, so then Shabriri spreads slander. This results in America taking the entire clan, including Shabriri, and bringing them into this catacomb that was built just for them to be buried with the three fingers, right? Yeah, that worked. Ooh, Eye of Yellow. Because of this, Shabriri obviously gets hated by his entire clan, so they take out his eyeballs, right? They make him blind, right? If you can't speak the truth, you are unworthy of seeing the truth, that type of idea. So now his eyes have been gouged out, but obviously that doesn't change the clan's problems, where they don't have anything and they get resentful or whatever, right? So then Demon Shabriri, the outer god of chaos, basically kind of proves his point about the purposelessness to existence and the unjust and unfairness of all this disparity in this cruel world, blah, 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 blah. So eventually start calling out to the Three Fingers, as they're sealed in here. And the Three Fingers... Okay, there's the guy we jumped from, gotcha. Ooh, hefty bones. Yeah, this makes sense, because they're caravans, right? So they're out hunting animals and stuff before they're sealed here. There we go. Oh. Perfect. And then once that happens, they call upon the Three Fingers or whatever. That gives birth to the Frenzied Flame. So, like, both Shabriri and the rest of his clan all are cursed collectively. Now, this is where it gets a little vague, because I'm not sure on whether the idea with Kale and stuff in the final game is that Kale are those in his ilk outside of these tombs, were those who evaded capture and have continued to operate outside the Lands Between, or if they were escapees from this place, or they're descendants of escapees from this place at some point afterwards. Because we do get, like, the ashes for one of these cursed clansmen outside this tomb, right? Like, we find that one of them is on, like, the spiral staircase upstairs that leads to this cathedral, right? So all's well in that regard. Okay, so we start here. Woo! Alright. So which way are we navigating? God, I have so many runes I don't want to lose. Guess this is the area I want to jump, huh? Woo! Woo! Can I get onto those areas, I wonder? Kind of curious. Oh, yeah, I can. I can do that from here. Coolio. Alright, we're all good. Dang it. Those stupid corpses block the way. Okay. There's the fingerprint stone shield for the god. Let's see. Loki, you're blowing my mind. Brove gave people a new parasite to worship. Shabriri wanting the nomads locked up makes no sense. It's probably just the Golden Order blaming it on Shabriri. Shabriri wanting the nomads locked up makes no sense. Again, if he's trying to make a point which will lead to the creation of the Frenzied Flame, I'd say it does make sense. At least so far as an outer god of chaos wants to make a point to the entire clan that will help cause that chaos. Again, it's basically the idea that, ooh, there's a note on Miquella's needle, which does again prove access to these tombs did in fact exist before Morgott added his seal, at least. Nothing here. And I think there's nothing here either. Oh, I see you. Alright, so the question is, where do I oh, I can just jump down from here. Haha, clever. Is there a pathway? Not really. I guess this is gonna collapse or something. Yep, there we go. It doesn't receive the care it needs. Let's see. It makes no sense. It's probably just the Golden Order blaming on Shabriri. Again, if the fact that Shabriri gets cursed along like the rest of the clan tells us that he is in fact part of the clan. Because there's no other reason for him to just magically suddenly have all of it there. And then, as for the slander portion... Actually, do I not have the talisman? I guess I don't. I might have put it away. I'm pretty sure I own it, though, already. Oh, Melina wants to talk. Of course she does. We'll get that out of the way once we do this quickly. Let's see. There you are. Shabriri as well. Disturbing likeness of a man whose eyes have been gouged out. corner of his mouth upturned in almost flirtatious manner, constantly attracts enemies' aggression. He said that the man named Shabriri had his eyes gouged out as punishment for the crime of slander, and with time, the blight of the flame of frenzy came to dwell in the empty sockets, right? So again, the idea was that he already had his eyes gouged out, but then eventually, you know, a small period of time at least passed, and then they have the frame of frenzy coming inside of them and all that. So I don't think it's just, oh, they just blame Shabriri, the Golden Order just blame Shabriri. I don't buy that for a second. Especially during, again, why would you have them all locked up then at that point if you realize it's all slander? Like, does he have different hair than the merchants? I can't speak to that because they all wear hats as far as I recall, but his talisman depicts him with short curly hair and the merchants have long straight hair unless I'm mistaken. I mean, could still be variety. I mean, just because we have copy-pasted NPCs that have the same hairstyle doesn't mean that all of them do. Also, there's the possibility that, assuming that this is a cultural thing for them, that this is because the talisman itself is reusing assets from a different script for the game, right? Similar to what we have with, what was her name? The other Woe talisman? The one related to the Serpent Lady. I recall, like, the cut description for it involves a completely different lore for a completely different character, so we always have to keep in mind those types of small differences could be accounted for through that. I still think it's sussy that the God of Chaos has 3 fingers and the Greater Will has 2. I think it's purposefully a mockery, right? Because the idea is that, the idea with the Chaos seems to be that it wants to be the Greater Will, but in reverse, right? So everything has to be almost an inverse of that, right? So it's not 2 fingers, it's 3 fingers, right? And it's supposed to be the mockery of I'm the other end of that hand, in a sense, right? Although, aren't the 2 fingers portrayed as technically, like, 4 fingers, right? Because, like, there's a, like, at least I think in some descriptions or item pictures, aren't they portrayed with, like, a bottom half of, like, 2 quote-unquote fingers? Or are those, like, the 2 toes or something? I don't have anything here, I think, but, like, pretty sure there's the 2 fingers talisman that's like that. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, this one portrays them. Actually, you know what? I just thought of that. That could be a shadow, huh? Right? That could just be their shadow on the staircase or something. Yeah, I didn't even think of that, but that could just be like, oh, look, there's this big bright light. It's casting a shadow there. That might be the idea. Oh my god, I don't have Renala's yet? Yeah, I don't have Renala's, huh? Where do I get that? I find it weird. I don't have Renala's talisman yet. I could have swore I had all of them. Nope. Good to know. Shabriri's come hither smile. So are the stars like the Dead Space 3's brethren/brother moons? I don't know about exactly like that. Because the idea with the brethren moons in Dead Space is the idea that they're a bunch of necrotic flesh that all combines into its own sort of cosmic horror, like, Lovecraftian entity. I don't know if that's the case. Let's see. They have legs in the Faith Tell. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, are these legs, or it could also be interpreted as just like a shadow that's being cast upon there to kind of emphasize the, like, oh, like the heavenly aura behind them or something. I didn't think of that before, but maybe that's an idea. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, that could. I guess the best way to tell is if we can look at the model and see if there's any sign that the model has a bottom half like this. If none of the 2 fingers models, even those that regularly... Actually, no, it can't be that way, can it? Because we have the one in Round Table Hold, and that one's just standing on flat ground. There's no way that one's, like, half in the earth or something. Probably Ronnie's Tower. Right, we have to do that after this, too. Ronnie. Gotcha. Did you do Inverted Study Hall yet? It should be there. Yeah, we're gonna check there next. Oh, good to know. Okay, let's talk to Melina. She's gonna be all mad at us.
I ask you one more time, please, seek not the frenzied flame. As one who strives to become a lord, deny not the lives, the new births of this world. Those who would are not fit to be called lord, when the land they preside over is lifeless.
I'll be honest, this has been the first time I've had an emotional connection with Melina. Her voice acting was really good for this scene.
Please, put a stop to this madness. The Lord of Frenzied Flame is no lord at all. when the land they preside over is lifeless.
Like, you can feel that, Anakin, you're breaking my heart type of emotion from her. Like, she's trying to keep calm, but she's, like, really desperate and, like, miserable. Like, how could you be even considering this? Like, why are you, like, continue to go closer? Like, I really, really like that, right? So, yeah, you can see how the, got, like, the sign of when the flame gets added, and now, like, the fingers are, like, burning up shit. Looks like someone tried sealing the fingers in, given the way that they're trying to, like, mark these areas. Very interesting. Like, it's trying to almost grip on. Who was the person that said that the fingers could be a left hand? That actually supported this way, right? Because if it's if it's two fingers and a thumb, the way it grasps onto the everything like that fits with a left-handed person, right? Because you want the thumb to be on the top, right? So if the thumb's on the top, it would grip the inside of the door, like it would grip the door from the inside, like so, hitting this way, right? Because if I was a lefty and I was if I was just had my left hand, I would just grip it this way. That makes sense. Be like, okay, just gonna grip onto here and try to hold on, right? And be like, it looks like it almost like clawed its way. Like, it's like, let me out. Like, it's trying to really desperately, like, claw its way over here, but then, like, you kind of slowly close the doors in on it and force it inside, right? Chaos is my bestie. Fuck off, Mel. Nobre wins the chat today. That made me laugh hard. I did me. One finger acts like a thumb. Yeah, that's the impression. So yeah, that's all consistent there. You've been using Eye of Yellow and everyone's taking notice. I asked one more time. Nah, she's mad. This is an intervention, Loki. Melina's not mad, just concerned. Yeah, I really like I just really love that that sadness and desperation. Like, I trusted you. Like, how could you do this to me? I think it really explains why she's so mad at the Flame of Frenzy ending. Like, this definitely feels like her greatest failure. Hello. I don't know how you got here before me, but, you know, we don't question that in these games.
So you're here as well, are you? I realized as we've talked, I'll be a maiden, and you, surely a lord. Go to the door ahead. After divesting yourself of your possessions, it will surely open, and the three fingers will welcome you. May the flame of chaos find purchase within you.
Uh-huh.
Go to the door ahead. After divesting yourself of your possessions, it will surely open.
Yeah. Isn't there supposed to be an illusory wall around here? Oh, right. Yeah, okay, good. I was like, I know there's supposed to be something here. There we go. Only a rune arc? Darn. Yeah. And again, we have the idea that the tomb is here, and the Erd tree is here. So again, goes back to the idea that, oh, there's the god, Placky's god dying, and then the grave to Placky's god was like over there or something. Touch Grace. I just noticed Vike's gauntlets look like Banished Knight gauntlets. Ooh, I gotta look at that now, Pastor. Thank you for pointing that out to me. You are my partner, Loki! We're gonna become Elden Lord, but you let this twisted finger creature twist your mind! Words from Melina herself. The three fingers burns the first maiden it gets. Alrighty. Now we're here. I'm gonna just say this, by the way, chat. I would never have thought to check here individually. So, just the fact that I happened to find something when doing my research for the Three Fingers part of my Age of Plenty stuff. Ended up finding finding all this. That was completely, that would have never happened. I can tell you right now, I would have never thought about it. I would have done the quest stuff and then moved on. I would never have imagined they put an illusory wall here in this area. Would never have crossed my mind. I can tell you that. What happened to the body of Placky's god? That's a good question. If Placky's god is buried, yeah, if Placky's god is buried here, physically, or if the grave is, like, ceremonial, and it's not exactly supposed to have her body laid there, it's just sort of like a monument to her, because her body became the Erd tree, maybe. That's possibly the intention. Alright, so... Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh boy, chat. Ah, there's stuff up there, huh? Ah. Yeah, I'm not getting up there again, huh? Oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to do 2 runs. Okay, 1799? Okay, still kills him. Coolio. Formic Rock. Golden Rune. Coolio. There we go. Whoo! No surprise attacks from these ants or something? Alright, go this way. And there's the waterfall where we start, right? Yeah, around here. Yeah, we have the Erdtree avatar right here, and then the Erdtree is right over here. Yeah, there's Elden Throne. So Erdtree would be like right here, and these would be some of the the major routes. Hence why they're portrayed as the biggest on the map. God, I love the music for down here. Of course. No! He strafes! There we go. How am I supposed to beat strafing, chat? It's too powerful. Oh god, there's no hope there. Okay, gotcha. Just more regular runes. Alright, I don't think I've missed anything else, right? There's just that, the big mother ant up there. Oh. I'll be honest, I thought I was in the clear. Oh, I got 2 of them. I didn't even realize there was a second back there. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Oh. See an item over there, too, so... Okay, this is a dead end. Never mind. Gotcha. I thought that led up to somewhere, but no, it's just an optical illusion. Up here. Golden arrows makes sense. We are in the vicinity of a eternal city which had contact with the Erdtree Kingdom. I think this is normal route, right? Yeah, this is the normal thing. Okay, let's go back up here then. What happened to the body of Placky's gods? What are your thoughts on the Great Tree if Placky's BBG was the seed for the Erdtree? On the Great Tree? Honestly, with this theory I have on Placky's god being the god buried with the 3 fingers, which again makes the most sense just in terms of what god would... We have Placky's god, who leaves Far Missoula at some point, and Placky awaits their return. And then she goes there, for whatever reason dies, possibly killed by the 3 fingers, gets a grave that the 3 fingers then uses to basically piss on the Greater Will piss on her memory along with the Greater Will's authority, right? Meanwhile, you have all these banished knights, basically Far Missoula human worshippers of the dragons from Far Missoula, coming in here and colonizing the plateau, right? And we get the idea that, okay, they got the Windham are the main ruins, right? Then you have the various forts and stuff that are set up around here. Then, of course, you got Castle Sol up on the mountaintops, right? So, yeah, up here, right? So you got all this idea of them colonizing this upper area for seemingly no reason, unless they were looking for Placky's god. And they either did figure out where Placky's god was eventually, and they realized, she's dead or whatever. Maybe they're the ones who built the grave. Or they never figured it out, so they basically just kind of stayed here and end up kind of, like, becoming, like, residents of this area, like, normally, right? Either way, this allowed the Erd tree to grow. And this makes me think that, okay, I think this whole great tree talk is bullshit. Like, I've always had skepticism about the great tree theory. I've been waiting for a theory that was, like, really solid and good that could explain it to me. But now that I'm starting to fill out the history and stuff, I don't see where it's necessary into the history of this world. Like, I just don't see anywhere where it's like, oh god, we really need to insert a great tree that came before the Erd tree. Like, you could just literally just say that, oh, Elden Ring, with the body of Placky's god, sprouted a tree after her death, and that created the Erd tree, and that's it, right? And it's especially obvious because we know that before the Erd tree proper rose, there was already golden stuff that was being, what's the word? Saturating the land, right? Because I think it's one of those items that, that predates it. Where is it? Yeah, here. The Altus blooms. So you have these Altus flowers, which is like a golden tinged flower with succulent plant that blooms on the Altus Plateau, said to be a funeral flower in an era long past before the Erd tree grew. So it's like, okay, so when let's say that these were just roots, right? The roots of the Erd tree are taking root, and the tree is starting to grow beneath the surface, right? It's not yet broken the above ground. But there's already all this golden energy on the plateau land because of the Erd tree, quote-unquote, the golden power of the Elden Ring and all that, already existing and growing beneath the surface. So these golden flowers are already blooming. All that tells me that the golden tree, in some form, whether it's the Crucible or like some infant form, already existed, and the idea that there's this distinct great tree separate from the Erd tree, which existed across the land, I just don't see it. I think most of the symbols of the Erd tree as the Great Tree or whatever are either because A, the Banished Knights, obviously they exist when the Erd tree's around because Marika needs the Erd tree around when she takes over, right? So they already are using Erd tree imagery because, you know, they live around it or whatever, right? At least the ones at Fortified Manor do. And then the other option, there's also the Gelmir, Mount Gelmir and stuff. So again, it could just be because it characterizes the land that they're living on. Or B, they adopt it after Marika and company are already using it and stuff. That's the other option I see, because they're already using it, and then, like, we see, like, you know, place in Stormvale. Well, okay, it was partially built for those people living on the plateau, so therefore it's going to use some Erd tree imagery besides just the existing hawk and stuff imagery, right? But otherwise it's a Norman-style castle for the... Oh, wow, I did take some damage, okay. Otherwise, though, it's pretty much, you know, standard operating procedure as far as Banished Knight architecture goes. Okay, now we get to do Carian Study Hall. Wait, the Erd tree is a corpse? That would be one of the one of the possible nuances to my theory. Yes, Nobre. I think I saw one item on a branch above. Well, darn, I think I missed it. If I recall correctly, Deeproot would have had an golden-ish skybox to it since the Erd tree's roots. I wouldn't be too surprised, yeah. Formic Rock can be found in Moog's place. Formic Rock is related to the ants, if I recall, right? So I wouldn't be too surprised, yeah. Because isn't the river stuff... No, there's river stuff up here. I guess ants... No. I think there's Formic Rock in Shifra River, too, right? Like, I think there's some parts of the river that has it as well. Let me double-check the item description. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, giant ant venom. Okay, yeah. Found near Ansel River and other places where giant ants live. Okay, so it just tells us that, okay, this marks a giant ant's position. And I think because it's using the venom of the giant ants, that means it comes from rot, if I recall correctly, right? Because the idea is that the ant venom does rot damage or whatever, scarlet rot. Alright, let's see. Look at that! A tree imagery here. Almost as if this Carian Study Hall was at one point being used in order to study Order. Specifically, the Golden Order of the Erd Tree. Huh. Fancy that idea. Oh god, we're having a slight lag. Okay, let's do this. We've already done the area normal, I think, so let's just put this thing here. Oh, what do you know? It's an inverted statue of a scholar. What about the root resin? That's the thing that where the discussion about the great tree comes. Now, I've talked about this before, but Japanese does not have spacing like we have in English, where it's like, okay, we can. They also don't have capitalization by nature of their language, the same that we have in English, right? Because they don't use I don't know what the academic term is, but they use like pictographs, characters, especially Chinese characters for their kanji and stuff like that, by and large. So there just isn't that same idea of a great tree, a single word, no spaces, thing, versus just saying great tree, a big tree. Also, the term great tree, big tree, is used to describe explicitly the Erd tree. Like, for example, the tree in beast surcoat for Godric's forces is more accurately a great tree in surcoat, and the description outright calls it the Erd tree, or the golden tree, right? So, same stuff there. So all of that sort of discounts. This is where like my position slightly differed from my contemporaries in the translation community, because they would say there is no great tree, it's all localization error, and I'm like, it's ambiguous, because I can read the statement the way that people are saying that there's this great tree that could be a possible reading, and you just have to read it differently from some of the other descriptions. That is possible. I wouldn't want to discount that, so I don't want to just be like sign it off and say like, oh no, there's no such thing as a great tree, right? I don't want to be that guy. But I was always skeptical because it meant that shifted the argument from, oh, look at this stuff in the script, this implies that there is a great tree, versus you have to find stuff in the environment, in the history, in the larger meta-narrative that requires you to have this great tree be existing. And as I just pointed out, I'm not seeing that. The more and more I go into this game, the more and more skeptical I am on this regard. Oh god, this is going to be so weird. Honestly, I think I should just use Karian's Slicer. Can I go down there? No, I think that's death. Yeah, I think that's death. I think this is my only hope. Wait, was Placky's god an outer god or America type god? America type god. It's never stated in the fingerprint shield about... Oh. Huh? I thought I killed you. I thought you were dead. Wait. Why isn't she dead? Oh yeah, now she's dead. Thank you. Lucidity. Also, this is a bit weird. Everything's flowing normally. We're just upside down, so gravity works for everything except us. Oh boy, this is a topsy-turvy concept to wrap my head around. Also, there is an item I apparently missed. Oh god. I hope I can reverse this whole inverted tower shit. Actually, no, I might be able to... Yeah, I think I actually can get there normally. I just have to find a path around. Gotcha. Was the one you killed a blue summon? I can't remember. I do not remember at all. I just remember her teleporting. But I think that's the same one, right? Like, I think her name was Miriam? Or was it Miriam? Oh, that was unnecessary. Whoopsie. Okay. Ow. Oh my. Ah! Cancer. And this is why, chat, we don't melee finger creepers, because they do shit like that. Anyway, what was I talking about with the fingerprint shield? Yeah, let's go. Let's look at this real quick. Yeah, because it doesn't say outer god, it just says a god, an ancient or old god here, which is like, okay, that's pretty vague, because there's lots of things called god in this series, so it could be virtually anything. So what's the most viable thing of a god that's dying long ago, and we have a missing god, who could definitely be dead, and basically would be something that could potentially killed by the three fingers, right? And I would say, well, Placky's god makes the most sense. Great god with the Elden Ring, all that jazz. There we go. All that jazz makes the most sense to me. Just gotta do it slightly early so we avoid that finger hitbox. That's a very tight timing, though, because if I do it slightly too early, I basically miss the strike point. Oh, I did not lock onto the right thing. Oh. This is gonna be very weird, chat. Let's do this, just in case. I don't want to have to deal with a torch constantly. Oh, I could just climb over. Coolio. Moving over here. And we're in. The Mask of Confidence. Okay, guys. This is... I always find this hilarious. So I will always point this out. So the idea is that mask with mouth sewn shut with gold thread increases arcane. Well, more on that later. When Radagon married Renala, he ordered the Carrion magic preceptors, again, these are professors for the academy, to don these masks. To make it clear that all of their matters were to be kept strictly private, right? So there's the idea that, okay, you gotta keep this stuff secret. Whatever happens between Renala and me. The reason why this is funny is because, again, arcane means the secrets of God, right? So it's saying, hey, increases your ability to know and keep the secrets of God. And Radagon basically is like, hey, don't talk about my secrets with my wife. Puppets, right? Puppets are dark blue, if I recall. Yeah, I think that's the case. They don't look like ghosts to me, at least. I think the ghosts are more like bright and almost like a whitish blue. So yeah, we're dealing with puppets here, which again makes sense with Miriam. Because I think that it's the same thing in the normal thing, right? Miriam summons a bunch of puppets. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of saint statues, but I think if I recall correctly, there's also some of these statues with books and stuff. Again, this all goes on top of the idea that there is a blue seed, like there's a cerulean seed talisman that we can acquire here. So again, combined with the Erd tree on the front of the Karian study tells us, okay, this study is being used in order to understand the Golden Order more after the whole Crucible dying incident. Actually, I could just use this, yeah. Let's do that. There we go. I guess we just drop here, huh? I don't see anything here. Oh, no, yeah, there is a body there. Yeah, look, see, and we see up there is statues of the quote-unquote saint with a book, though, instead for study and all that. Oh, there's the Karian symbol up there. Yeah, I don't see anything here. Oh, where's that corpse I saw? Ah, there it is. Alright. Hello? Hello? And I'm crazy. Nope, it worked out. I'm just ready to, like, just absolutely slightly miss the angle and fall into my death. Other than everyone but Renala being like, I know that ass anywhere. America, get out of here! Let's see. And the cross-stitch pattern is Radagon's part of the Elden Ring. Exactly, it's Radagon's symbol, at least. How they know about his secrets? Because they're professors for the academy, and they seem to be working at the Carian Manor, like Celavis, a lot. So a lot of them would be witness to anything that happens with the royal family behind closed doors and stuff like that, right? Like, it's like, hey, it's their private manor, but like the preceptors are there. So it's like, hey, keep quiet. Don't say anything. Don't leak anything that happens with us back here, right? So it's like, again, that's why I find it so funny that they're like, oh, it increases arcane stat. It's like, of course it increases arcane stat. It's a pun that just doesn't translate in English, unfortunately. Puppets are likely a thing with Carians. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that one of the sword monuments talks about the turning Cuckoo invaders into puppets when they tried to assault Carian Manor. Wouldn't surprise me if they got the same treatment at Carian Study Hall. Ooh, yeah, that makes sense because then Preceptor Miriam is there, right? So it's like, okay, she defends the study, and then as a result of that, the Carians end up. Okay, no, I can. I thought maybe I could go in there, but I don't think I can. Yeah, no, I can't do that. Gotcha, that's fair. So then the Carian study and all that is basically just Miriam's little hideaway, right? I guess it'd be the equivalent of a Garnthy taking over the Watchers, the Guardians garrison. I keep saying Watchers because that's the Japanese, but no, it's the Guardians garrison. So it'd be kind of like, hey, we're putting you in charge of this fort. In this case, the fort is the study, and then later she defends against all these cuckoos, and then they end up becoming puppets, like we see at the Carian Manor. God, this building feels so big despite being not that much space, huh? All that verticality. I love the idea of everyone, but yeah, okay, let's see. I think one of these, okay, we got that, those windows, okay. I think we've covered everything. Yep, windows, pretty plain, all things considered. And then there's the ones down there. Okay, chat, I think we've covered all the items here. Yeah. Okay. So we can just go back here. I remember when I was trying to shoot this thing. We're going down, but technically up. Ah, this place. Watchers works for me, very MCU. Yeah, the term means like watcher, monitor, right? That type of idea, which makes sense, right? Because they are flame watchers. They are monitoring the flame of ruin, making sure, it's not, yep, flame, it's still smoldering. It ain't blazing. Nope, yep, it's all good. We're all fine. All's dandy. Yeah, more of these statues. Am I really gonna open a door upside down? Like, what? This is the weirdest ass crap I've ever had to do. And you can only get here going upside down. That's the weirdest part about all this. Wait, there's a cutscene just for this? I guess they have to transition this somehow to make it make sense, right? What I said above, so could Placky's god be both feeding the Erdtree's miracles as well as the Flame of Frenzy? Could be feeding the Flame of Frenzy. Oh, I didn't even think about how the Flame of Frenzy's being fueled. Ooh. I don't know, because it seems to come from the three fingers, the flame, right? Because it's the one that's burning and all that, and it definitely wasn't burning before the flame got called to curse the clan, because obviously we see the fingerprint shield as normal fingerprints, like normal impressions in the stone, nothing burned. So I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. What's happening over here? Okay, we got Book Boy, and we got some regular-ass gargoyle. Okay. Normal grotesque. Nothing to see here. Did Smowtown say there's like a Godskin noble here or something on one of his vids? I vaguely recall something like that, so I guess I should be prepared for that, huh? Look at all of these runes, chat! Yeah, I'm not gonna remove anything. Ruin fragments. Are you telling me this stuff could all be Farm Azula? Or at least Farm Azula era? Gosh, I never even considered that. But yeah, the fact that we find them here, just randomly. There we go. And common is Zerd. Wow, you're not even considered a boss. That's the weird thing. There we go. Man, it's so weird being here. It's been such a long time since I've been up a tower. Especially a tower that had a bridge. Let's see. Yeah, do you have any idea what that sculptor might have seen when he was working on Radigan's statue? I can't remember the dialogue exactly, but the idea seems to be that the sculptor knew that Radigan and Marika were the same person, and like probably by Marika's like request, because again Marika's a bit of a prankster. That the idea was, okay, you make a Marika statue, but we'll disguise it as a Radigan statue or whatever, right? And so the sculptor basically ended up, like, sort of making all that, and then probably got killed. Like, in all honesty, to preserve the secret and Marika's joke. It was probably the idea of, okay, you've now completed what I wanted from you. Okay, now die. Now no one knows. Like, if we're being honest. But yeah, it seems to be the idea that the statue was being made basically as the idea to make a prank on Marika. Like, obviously the idea is to celebrate, Radigan's the new Elden Lord and all that, right? So they're building it, like, next to the sanctuary, blah, 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 blah. But the reality is that, hey, now Marika's the sole person in charge, in point of fact. Brah, Marika, what the fuck? Yeah, like, Marika's, like, that's what I kind of like about Marika's character. Like, she's portrayed, there's two things that, like, define her character. Her god complex and her capriciousness. She's the type of person who could be like, oh, tee-hee, I'm disguising myself with this veil as one of the, as like a random object in the room so I can ambush you and surprise you, haha. And then later she's like, oh, you pissed me, oh, you're threatening my reign? Okay, I'm gonna, like, I'll stab you on, through these, on these, like, special thorn, stakes right through your chest or whatever, and you can enjoy, that type of suffering, haha. Isn't it so funny? Or, like, she makes the catacombs or whatever. It's like, okay, so to defend people from the catacombs, we're going to create this really hilarious little thing where it's like, ooh, duplicate rooms and copying and all that type of junk. It's like, I see. Loki was said to have had red hair in actual Norse mythology, and this is the... Oh, America's a prankster. More confirmation Radigan is Loki. From Pastor, yeah. Yeah, like, I was talking about this with the Lore Hunter. Was it Smotown? I think it was the Lore Hunter. But we were talking about the idea of Radigan and his position relative to, like, the idea... Because, again, my current take is that Radigan was basically a curse by the Greater Will in response to Marika making herself Eternal Queen and Malekith proving completely unreliable during the Glowmite Queen thing, right? Because similar to Blythe, we have to assume that the idea that Marika would resist the Two Fingers who have the Glowmite Queen, like, kind of, like, coming through to hunt the gods and, like, take over, right? Was basically supposed to have Malekith have the whole baleful shadow bullshit going on, right? But that didn't happen. Instead, Malekith helped Marika slay the Glowmite Queen in opposition to the Two Fingers who were supporting the Glowmite Queen. Therefore, with that comes the idea then that Marika and Malekith are completely rogue. They can basically do whatever they want without any interaction for the Greater Will in the future, right? So the Greater Will place a curse on Marika, which is Radigan, another half who is basically her duplicate, right? Like a opposite sex clone that's existing inside, existing essentially as part of her essence of her soul or whatever. But the only difference is that it has this seemingly ingrained loyalty to the Golden Order and the Elden Ring and all that stuff, right? Like, hence why Marika refers to him as a dog of the Golden Order. Hello there, Ronnie's corpse. good to see. And you can see the red hair there. Very neat little detail. Interesting how the rest of her body seems to have petrified, huh? Curse Mark of Death. Stargazer. Ah, that's the Stargazer heirloom. And yeah, like you guys said, it's at the Carrion Study Hall and all that. Coolio. We got it, chat. Young astrologer gazed at the night sky. She had always chased the stars every step of her journey. Then she met the full moon, and in time the astrologer became a queen. I can't remember which term for young was used, because there's two terms for young used with Renala. One is the idea of she's very, like, it has this indication. It's similar to with Leonard in Dark Souls 3, where it implies that he was very young, like almost like an infant or a child, or someone who's basically probably like maybe teens at his latest, if we want to be really generous, right? And then there's the other term, which is like just young, which is like, okay, like teens, maybe like college age, maybe young 30s at late, if we want to be like really like kind of push it a little bit, right? And the idea is that these two youngs define two different periods of Renala's life, and I think this young is the really young one, possibly, but I have to double check that. I know there's one instance where at least it's used to refer to, okay, when she was like basically a child still, and this might be what this is portraying here. Is when she was still, like, a young, like, maybe teen or preteen, and she finds the moon. Let's see. And then, like, obviously when she's a little older, but she's still young, she becomes Carrion Queen and all that. Haha, I sent my cursed male half to marry you and have kids with you, so you both live a happy life until I suddenly call him back. Haha, just a prank, Renala. Yeah, basically, right? Like, it's one of Marika's tricks, in essence, right? Like, she basically is like, oh, you like my other half, okay, you can marry him or whatever, and you can... Basically, Marika uses Radagon to get the inside, right? Because that was the entire point of the Lyrian Wars, it seems like. Marika wants to understand the Golden Order and all that, because she realizes with the Crucible dying and all that, that she doesn't understand shit about her faith-based cult. So she needs to add some intelligence to her build. But how's she going to get that intelligence without a level up mate? Well, she's going to have to get knowledge from people who've done all those studies and academic work and rigorous analyses and all that. So she goes to the Carian Academy. But the Carians don't trust the faith people, and they basically don't want them involved in any of this shit. So basically she goes, okay, I'm going to go to war then with them. But Godfrey sits this one out, so Radagon's the one that takes front and central stage. Basically, Marika takes the reins, right? And my assumption is that Godfrey is, like, all depressed because of the Mog and Morgott incident, right? Like, the idea of giving up his kids and becoming a quote-unquote traitor to his own children seems to have, like, possibly gotten him in a bit of a depressed state. And then that gets, like, he gets knocked out of it when Grand Sax, like, slams into his own capital, right? And then that all goes back to normal with Godfrey. But I think that's why he sits at the Lyrian Wars, because it seems like the wars happen right after the Crucible dies, right? Like, the Omen Curse has passed, like, Marika and Godfrey have gotten rid of their kids, but now Marika's trying to study the Order with the whole trees and stuff like that, with the whole spreading the seeds and all that, and that's why we have this church here, where she's like, hey guys, why should we hesitate? It's time to stop our blind faith and just actually get some int, right? And then she starts the Illyrian Wars, right? And we see some of this stuff here, right, with this these graves here. So this is like the first Illyrian War, like the monuments around here-ish, right? So it's like, okay, they started first, they tried the full frontal assault during the first Illyrian War, and that failed miserably. So then it seems like Marika's idea was, okay, second Illyrian War, we're gonna go around this way, we set up a village here, we're gonna put some defensive walls and stuff to help protect us on that front. We can see one of the converted towers here, and there's like the whole burial spot here, right? So like, okay, next is the Second Lyrian War, and that takes them to battle here on the eastern tableland, right? So this highland here becomes another battle point, and that's where the Second Lyrian War also comes to a standstill and forces the Church of Vows to set up, right? So this is like the graves for that second war. And then, of course, there's also the graves here, which seem to be a mixture of a bunch of different stuff, because there's, like, necromancers and shit here, and there's this tower here, which I think has, like, a ball of sorcerers, if I recall correctly, in it. So, like, there's a lot of stuff happening here anyway. But the idea seems to be, okay, so this is where the Second Lyrian War happened, because the idea was, okay, if we can't go full frontal assault, we'll go around the side, right? And then we'll attack from this angle, where they won't expect us. But it seems to be that the Lyrians caught on and intercepted them here on the tablelands. Which makes sense, right? Because the Erdtree Highway goes all the way down here. And then we get to this area. Notice how the Purified Ruins have roads that lead not only to, of course, the ruins proper here, which have a warp gate to the Academy, the same as the Lascar Ruins. So it's like, okay, both have, like, affiliation with the Academy, but these are converts to the Golden Order, right? There's the Two Fingers Talisman here. There's this catacombs right here on the right. So it's very obvious that those who are interacting along the highway, like a waypoint ruin, right? Like what we see here. Waypoint ruins. Kaled waypoint ruins, right? Like these little towns that are set up so you can rest and recover. They're like these again, in Japanese, the terminology basically refers to like an in town or an in place, like the idea that, okay, you come here for lodging, replace your horses with like, not tired ones, enjoy the hot springs, blah 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 blah, right? These are these basically publicly funded towns in order to help facilitate public officials and their convoys for trade or whatever they're doing, right? So then the idea is like, okay, this one's a little slightly off from the ruins, but it's doubling as a buffer zone for the Lascar ruins, because the idea is like, okay, we don't want to directly interact with the faithful people. We want to just interact with the sorcerers, or we as the sorcerers want to maintain a objective distance from that, which makes sense because these ruins end up being converted, right? So it's like, hey, we don't want to be too close to these people. We might get caught up in their faith bullshit. But they do want to study and understand them, which is why these catacombs have libraries in them. And in fact, behind one of the barriers, we can find one of these library areas has the Nox Mirror Helm, right? Which is used to counter the Greater Will and its envoys, the Two Fingers. So it's like, okay, the sorcerers of Lascar are studying through the purified ruins the people of the Erdtree Empire that are passing through onto Stormvale, right? After the Banished Knights set up the penal colony, right? So while they're going to the penal colony, they're stopping by purified ruins, and Lascar can have interactions with them through these. These people at the purified ruins end up becoming a bunch of faithful worshippers. They got converted, and they start having these catacombs, but then the Lascar can go in and study these catacombs and use them to kind of like understand, okay, the Greater Will, Erdtree Burial, all that stuff, right? And all that ties into then the Liurnian Wars, where it's like, okay, we want their distance, but then obviously the Liurnian Wars cause the two parties to finally reconcile, and they get properly brought into the Order, and we start seeing like more proper religious stuff. Like, we see here at Academy Gate Town, there's a Erdtree burial and stuff that's happened here, right? So all of that tying together. Hey, Night Scout, welcome in here. Ronnie's hair is short. Maybe she cut it before performing the curse mark. Possibly. It could also just be the model, though, right? Because we don't know how the body has decayed and stuff. And usually, if I recall correctly, hair is the first thing to rot off when it comes to corpses. Ronnie pranked Marika back by killing her favorite son, right? Yeah, so all of this, all the Linear Wars were so that way Marika could get the knowledge. And with Radagon marrying Renala, he could get all that knowledge that the Carians had. So then she could, between her and her own personal studies back home, and Radagon, which we assume, like, Radagon exists as, like, a separate, I don't know, body. Again, I don't know how the whole dual body shit works, but we've seen this several times with, like, Irina and, like, Hayeta and stuff, and a bunch of other characters. So it's like, okay, you can have, like, you have two people existing in, like, separate, quote-unquote, bodies of some sort, and they're, at least for all intents and purposes, real for, well, at least with Renala's case, sex and stuff. So all that seems to be done with, like, Marika's continuing to act home as, like, the helpless, needs Godfrey to help her and all that, but Radagon, the heroic warrior, is now married to Renala and, like, doing his own little study stuff, and then basically once Godfrey's out of the picture, Radagon gets called back, marries Marika, and they finalize Golden Order fundamentalism, which we see with the seal that appears on the corpse before the Erdtree here, right? And that's how we get Radagon's era of fundamentalism being propagated and, like, academic stuff like the perfumers and shit like that. So all that is, whew, that's a long rant, but anyway, yeah, sorry, I kind of went a little off topic there, but want to cover all my thoughts there. Now let's check out chat while I find the next place we're going to. Let's see, we did the Three Fingers. We did the Carian study. Is there any other area that I've missed? Hey Loki, what's up? I see you explored the consecrated snowfields a bit extra last time and encountered Ordina. Yep, I did, Night Scout. That's all been done. Very, very, very good stream, I think, overall. Got a little ticked off by the, a little bit by Ordina, but, also the Mausoleum there. Like, these two things kind of, like, were like, they really got on my nerves. They really pressed my buttons, but the rest of it was pretty cool. And now we've learned stuff here with the Church of Repose that I'm like, okay, I gotta correct my analysis, because I thought Church of Repose would connect to these catacombs and stuff, but no, this cliffside makes it really hard to justify that. Makes more sense if it deals with getting rid of these giants, which makes sense, because the idea is that Marika is personally involved here, so of course you build a Church of Marika, where Marika was, again, a site where Marika would be personally doing all this stuff. So yeah, that makes sense. And then Guardian's Garrison was given to Argonthi still. So again, just some minor tweaks I have to make to my analysis. And then we've done Seal Tunnel. We've done all this. We've done everything except Hay Lake Tree, so Let's see. Her fingers are in the ruins of Manicelis, which is odd, not gonna lie. Well, with a name like Manicelis. Now that you have the curse mark, you can give it to Fia. Ooh, that's true. So we should probably do that next. Okay. You got burned by the three fingers? No, we haven't. I've done the area, but I haven't gotten burned yet. I haven't decided if we're going to do three fingers ending or not in this gameplay, because I probably am not going to do, Millennia. So, yeah. Give me hugs. I miss your warm embrace, my deathbed companion. What are your thoughts on Hayeda's dialogue about the One Great? I see no reason to doubt it. At least as far as the core facts are concerned. Like, maybe something she says there might be a little bit of bias spin or whatever, but, like, say, like, you know, the idea that, like, life's not worth living or anything like that. But I think as far as, oh, I could just give her the curse mark. She didn't even say.
This is the other Hallowbrand.
Yay!
How did you? Oh, my utmost thanks.
Well, Fia's dialogue will help you decide the ending soon.
Godwin can take his word.
Yeah, I've been leaning on Fia already, so it's like, do I want to do Fia? Ronnie? Like, it's my first ending. Like, which one do I want to start with? Look at that double dash. So unprofessional, chat.
Can I hold you tight? If only for a moment.
You can get burned, then not do the frenzy ending? Yeah, but don't you have to beat Millennia to do that? Oh, wow. Radiant Baldekin's Blessing.
I will soon lay with Godwin.
Traitor! Cheater! You're my waifu! You're gonna commit NTR with the fucking corpse? Oh, chat. I feel so betrayed.
Brandish this child, my rune, and take for yourself the throne. Stay the persecution of those who live in death by becoming our Elden Lord.
Or even better, get Melina to burn herself, then get the Frenzy Flame. That way she can't be mad. Ronnie's my only wife. You do have to beat Millennia. Yeah, that's what I thought. Wow, she's gonna get with a dead man instead of you. I know, right? Like, I can't believe it. She's telling me this while she's embracing me currently. Like, oh my god. What a bitch.
I will soon
Yeah.
conceive. Brandish must stay the
Fia, how could you do this to me? I thought we had something special. Fia, now you know Fia makes you a cuck. Do I have a... Fia, how could you do this to me? I trusted you. Why? Why would you do this to me? Listen, man, when you're a sorcery guy who only stays in the library studying books all day, you're gonna lose your girl to the big, strong, fancy guy, even if he's a corpse. Just saying. Be a Godwin, not a Loki. Actually, is my character actually named Loki? I forget. Yeah, he's just named Loki. Gotcha. Tarnished behavior is letting Fia cuck you. Okay, so, do I use that warp point? I can't remember. I don't think I've done the... Yeah, you know what? Let's do the level up at this juncture. I don't think I've done the boss fight for this area, right? With, good ol' Fortisax. There we go. She's gonna have his kid, too! That's the worst part! Let's see. Lich Dragon Fortisax theme is really good. Yeah, I can't wait to listen to it. She says, well, it might as well be yours, too. I always give my character a nonsense name. Sorry, Loki. Mermen always get the girl in real life. That warp point just takes you into Langdale. Okay, gotcha. So right now your options are to marry one of Celavis's modified spare sex dolls, get cucked, or set yourself on fire, or get a fancy chair. Clearly, we should all do the gold mask ending. Clearly, be the Sigma Alpha male. You're way over level for him. Is that so? I guess we'll be one-shotting him with Common Azure then. So, Fia, how do I fight Fortisax? Do you know? I'm kind of curious. Like, how do I do this? Fia? Fia.
This is goodbye, my dear.
Ah, I see.
But I am satisfied. I choose to lie with Godwin of my own will, not the remains of one chosen for me.
Fia?
I will bear a child
Fia, why?
who will inherit.
Why are you saying this to me while you're embracing me?
What greater blessing could there be than to be born a deathbed companion?
Well, wait, you did gold mass ending so far, so you can get a fancy chair and make everyone get cooked instead. I still don't get why so many people are so eager to get some nasty rope burn. I think because most players don't realize that it's a point of no return when it comes to the Frenzied Flame because they don't talk to Melina or some shit. So they just kind of all do it and they're like, well, I guess we're all doing Frenzied Flame and no one can beat Millennia, so...
This is goodbye.
Yeah.
I choose
Yeah.
and I will bear who will inherit. What greater
Yeah. Okay. Okay, chat. I see what my options are. Excuse me. There we go. Excuse me? Yep, there we go. Like, super long animation getting up. Let's see. Though you'll have to retrieve Goldmass Rune after Malakath. Okay, so I have to wait till Malakath to get it? Gotcha. Oh? Okay, now we can do this. Gotcha. I'm ready, chat. I'm ready to one-shot Fortisax. It's okay, buddy. I married a Smurf with daddy issues. Alright, we're entering Godwin's dream. A corpse without a soul still dreams. Good to know. Yep. Yep, I'm super over-leveled for that. Fortisax! Well, I enjoyed the first 5 seconds of the theme. Hello, Emperor of Gravelash. Because then you get to turn the world into chaos! Let's see. I have more trouble with the Nameless King than Millennia, but maybe I just suck at slow-paced fights, or maybe my build... That I'm surprised about. I find Nameless King to be relatively easy, all things considered. Like, I find that fight to be... If you're at the appropriate level for him, like, I really don't see too much challenge with Nameless King. But it might just be my build. The fight with Fortisax is great, but after that is an even greater thing, an epic speech. That was hard. Yeah, I know, so hard. Hi, Fortisax. Bye, Fortisax. You should listen to it later. It's really great. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out. What do I do now? I guess rest. I got what I wanted, so... There we go.
Take a good long look. See the wrath of the Golden Order, the Order's justice writ in blood. This is what's become of your precious witch. Naught but expired meat and bone. This is a proper death, O Prince. Look at this rotten whore. No more children can be got from this useless flesh. Behold, your mother is dead.
I already took the child, by the way.
This is revenge, you witch, and you
If you could beat Nameless King, you beat Millennia. If you say so, John.
is the wrath of D.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we got now D2. I forget which one. One of them's named Darian and the other one's named Daryl or something. Me and my father have yet to beat him after years. Is that so? You've realized it by now, but Fortisax sucks. A shame since he's so determined to save his friend from getting molested. Well, that explains why he hasn't saved his friend from getting molested, huh? D giving off Alfred vibes here. You let your waifu die. Darn it! I didn't know that while I was resting at that grace, some guy would suddenly run up and kill her while she was asleep. Darn.
Hello. The rotten witch is dead. The Golden Order.
Is there any downside for me killing him right now, by the way?
Now I can look my brother Darian in the eye.
Darl?
Honeyed rays
Like, isn't that his name, Chaotic, or am I thinking something else? I thought it was Darian and Darl or some shit. She cucked you and then fucking dies, leaving you with a newborn infant. Shake my damn head. D2 has more to his speech. Gotcha. Darren, gotcha.
Now I have no regrets.
So it's Darian and Darren.
Honeyed rays of gold. Deliver my spirit. Darian. Honeyed rays.
Yeah, okay. DO2 will now off himself if you go rest. Gotcha. Is there any downside to me just killing him, though? No downside? Gotcha. Well, you killed my waifu, so prepare to die.
How could this?
No upside either. You get the armor whether you kill him or let him walk. Gotcha.
Darian.
Well, we got all his shit, so... That's all done. Alright, chat. Is there anything else I'm forgetting besides doing Ronnie's quest by killing Estelle? And, of course, all the other bosses. We still have Rykard. We have the 2 Estelles. We have the Fire Giant. I think we're ready for the boss rush mode. He tried to uncuck you, bro. Listen, he still killed my waifu. I don't care if I'm a cuck. I still loved Fia. She's still only for me. Ay, ay, ay. Is there anything I can get from Fortisax that I want? I don't think so. Let's go to the... That sword has a cool moveset. I can imagine so. D, I think, has one of the coolest armors and weapons of the entire game, to be honest. Yeah, no way that this is, like, in the ground or anything. So, yeah, I think that really is just a shadow in the talisman. Hello there, girl. Yeah, we know. Incantations? Faith? Useless. I just noticed those could be like dragon horns on the side. Those are supposed to represent. Didn't even think about that. Briar Helm. I might buy some of these in the future to more closely examine the armor. Oh, right. Well, Fortisax, I'm sorry. I know this is like your soul or some shit, but... Only 30k? Useless. Okay, yeah. We're almost there, so let's just do one of these. Okay, it's another... Yeah, there we go. And level up! More vigor. Guys, my glass cannon build is becoming slightly less glass. I still probably get like 2 shot by things, but hey, at least it's 2 shots. I'm kind of interested in going into more mind, if I'm honest. I haven't talked to you in a while.
You. What is it?
Unlocated demigods. Oh.
I see you've laid your hands on the other secret medallion.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad to see my counsel has borne fruit. But the honor of the deed is yours alone. You've made more of yourself than Ensha has. Now, more importantly, both secret medallions are in your hands. I suppose you'd like to know then. What awaits you on the path ahead?
Get the funny Renala hat. That didn't boost your intelligence or something, right?
I wait with bated breath.
Radon's remembrance is the Giga Chad 40k one, even after all the rotting. Tempered glass cannon. You were saying you need more stamina. That's true, Platy. I should probably look into stamina at this point, but I have to look at, like, if it's even worth it with all the levels I'd have to go through. Never fall in love with women that touched you in FromSoft games, folks. The Moonlight Altar has a decent chunk of land to cover and things to look at. Yeah, so we're probably going to do Moonlight Altar another thing then. We'll first do the boss rush mode, because, again, I assume the boss are going to take at least a few tries each one. So, yeah, that's going to probably be the main stream, is see if we can get all the bosses in one set, and then we'll do Moonlight Altar in another stream, and then do Halig Tree after Moonlight Altar. Let's see, from glass to plastic, OMG progress.
There are 4 more, Danny
Yeah.
Nicola,
Yeah.
twin,
Yeah.
Luna and Rania saw here that if you should learn it, I'll trade you for
Yeah.
as such.
Yeah. Nothing new here. I have to find Millennia and the Halig Tree related to the whole Mikola thing, right? So. I still don't talk to you.
Well, wherever you took you
Yeah.
to lay out your own.
Nothing really new here. Still, this still isn't better than what I got for Comet Azure, huh? We gotta start putting this stuff away. Remember Patches' side quest before Rykard. I've already done Patches' side quest. At least I think I have. Let me talk to Patches first, actually, because I've done the fighting portion. So I think that we should just need to chat with him. So let's put that stuff away and then talk to Patches. I can sell these. Inseparable sword. We're keeping that. Where is it? There we go. Oh, hey, we already got 2 of these, so those can be sold. Same with that. Okay, so all that stuff can be sold. We'll sell them right now. Maybe I can upgrade this, right? Because this is... I prefer damage. Gosh, gotta fix that. God, I wish I could put these away without having to unequip them every time. St. Trina's Church. Actually, do I have... I feel like I've duplicated that already. Oh, no, I've never gotten that imp statues, that imp face specifically, huh? Cool to know. This, though, I've gotten. Okay, so that we don't need duplicates of. Chitin Helm? Yeah, we already have that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we can sell that. I could use this at some point, so we'll keep that just in case. Restores HP, but that could be useful. Yeah, okay, I think I got all the useful talismans on me. Yeah, okay. We're all set. Let's sell the leftovers and then move on to Patches. Now talk to Patches until he coughs up the weapon he promised you? Gotcha. Okay, sell. Wait, can I? Oh, it can't sell because it's technically equipped. I feel like this should go in my thing. I don't think I have a duplicate of this. I think I might have made a mistake there. Okay. Well. There we go. Look at all that money I got, chat. Look at all those runes. Oh yeah, well, for more American Radigan lore, the gesture you get from D2 is the opposite of the gesture Melina teaches at the Minor Erdtree Church. Oh, that's cool. Inner/outer order. Further implying that America and Radigan see some similarity between D siblings and themselves. That's an interesting thing. Might be worth looking into D's lore more than before working too hard on the America Radigan angle. Right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was right. Like, I'm pretty sure that has to go away. God. I hate these things. Wait. Oh, no, of course. There we go. Anything else that wants to auto-add to my inventory? No? Thank you. Alright, let's go talk. Let's finish off this stream talking to Patches. The bonus stack only the one you cast from using the casting stats? Oh, so... Yeah, okay, so I basically, having it on my offhand isn't going to be useful then. Gotcha, Xavier. You're not helpful. I know, Patches is this way. Fun fact, D's weapon art is the same as the Mikkel and Knight Sword. Ooh. That is a fun fact.
Welcome to Patch's Emporium.
The request is done.
You hunted down Tragoth? Are you certain? No, it's quite all right. Fine work indeed. I'll give Tanith the news. Have some rest, by all means. Cheers for that. Forgot something on your shopping list? No trouble to me.
Can't talk to him, so I think I have to rest. Stingy little beggar. Shut up, Patches. Where is it? There it is. You gotta love how Grace is leading me to the place. Like, I know, like, obviously it doesn't necessarily have to be canon, but I do find it funny that the idea is that Grace would lead me to the place where, where I can betray Grace by becoming a stooge for Rykard. I guess the Greater Will understands that we're just gonna get eaten and we're gonna kill Rykard anyway, right? But I do find it funny. That's like you could become a recusant.
Hello again. Welcome to Patch's Emporium.
There we go. What about my reward?
Sharper than you seem, aren't you?
Give it to me, bald man.
To it for you, you know. Here you go. The reward for hunting Tragoth. All yours.
This better be good. Ooh, it looks nice. Woo! Do I want to buy anything from you? Nope. You know what, Patches? You put me in a good mood. I will buy your random cookbook that you got from a cleric's corpse, probably. Market Shackle. Can't tell if that's Crucible on there or just regular Erdtree Cross, but I know it's Crucible, Dying Crucible when you use it.
For that?
It does. I said the percent boost stacks. If you had 2 of your staffs, you'd get double the bonus and you wouldn't have to upgrade. Oh, okay. I thought when you said with the one you cast, it's like you have to have it in your offhand. Okay. So basically, if I wanted to, I could put Carian on my offhand, right? Only those are the highest intelligence wield is the finest of all glintstone staffs, and it boosts my full moon sorceries. And I don't use enough of those. Azure's might be good though. Reduces the cast time of all sorceries, but consumes additional FP. The problem is, does this stack with my well with my existing stats? Because I'm at 70 dex. So does this mean that okay, I get the bonus casting speed on top of all that? Because if so, that might be worth using with my Comet Azure spell, because I get Comet Azure that much faster, while without having to waste as much time. Horsey Shield. The shackles are useful for exploring. Gotcha. The branches on the shackles actually seem to be longer and more numerous, just without any leaves. Yeah. I was just curious if it's the actual physical shackle image has that, or if it's just the casting sigil. Like it's a Briar Thorns trapping Morgott and Moog. It's not really a Briar Thorns. It just looks like the Crucible Erdtree, except dying, which makes sense because that's the era when Morgott and Moog would be being sent there, right? Which again makes sense because Market knows Crucible era stuff and yeah. Anyway, okay, that's it, chat. We've covered everything I wanted to cover. I think next Elden Ring stream it's gonna be Fire Giant, Estelle, other Estelle, Rykard, in not necessarily that order. I have to figure out which order I really want to fight them all in, but we're going to do all that, and then the stream after that is going to be Moonlight Altar and Halig Tree. And maybe Farm Azula, but I don't know if Halig Tree or Farm Azula matter, so. Oh yeah, about Fortisax, even if you weren't so high leveled, he takes double damage to his head and is prone to slow walk up to an inch away from you, so you probably would have wrecked him anyway the same way. I guess that's true. But, yeah, if I aim for his head, probably, but I aimed for the body anyway, and he still died really quick, so yikes. Anyway, chat, we're gonna call it today. So that's gonna be it. One last thing from Platy. Shackles activate illusory walls and columns. Good way to avoid getting sprayed and to have all avenues available. Bad if you actually want to see the illusory wall pop. Gotcha. Anyway, so we're gonna head out then. Bye-bye, chat.